Sky was already 3 by then. My parents didn't take her to kindergarten. Instead, they started to homeschool her. Why homeschool? Why can't she go out like other kids? Because she's not other kids, Troy. She's our Sky, our princess, our sunshine.
How can you even compare Sky to others? Look at her. Have you seen any child as pretty as her?
Yeah? The neighbor's new baby is prettier than Sky.
Ugh, just get out. Go into your room or something. Just take your negativity away.
Yeah, I was being negative around their princess. Talk about irresponsible parents, and all I can think of is mine. Hi, I'm Troy. I was aged 6 when my parents had Sky, my younger sister. When I saw her for the first time, I thought she was heavenly. She had those huge eyes that gazed at me fearlessly, and curly hair that I envied. She was also chubby, unlike me who was really skinny. Overall, she was a healthy baby. Now, before her birth, my parents had made it quite clear to me that they weren't fans of male children. My dad would tell me stories about how they planned for a baby girl right from when they were dating. They'd even selected names. They never thought about having a boy. Honestly, when we got your gender, we were both disappointed. We wanted a girl. I didn't know what to feel then, but I can say now that I certainly didn't like it. I mean, if they wanted a girl that badly and couldn't get one at first, they didn't have to make me feel guilty for it. Anyway, my sister was brought back home from the hospital, and she took all of my parents' attention. They were always looking after her, barely sparing me a glance, or even speaking to me. Since I was quite grown already, and was a little used to it prior, I began to take care of myself. I would wake up early, get ready for school, and leave alone after fixing breakfast for myself. I did that until I finished junior school and graduated to high school. Sky was already 3 by then. My parents didn't take her to kindergarten. Instead, they started to homeschool her. Why homeschool? Why can't she go out like other kids? Because she's not other kids, Troy. She's our Sky, our princess, our sunshine.
How can you even compare Sky to others? Look at her. Have you seen any child as pretty as her?
Yeah? The neighbor's new baby is prettier than Sky.
Ugh, just get out. Go into your room or something. Just take your negativity away.
Yeah, I was being negative around their princess. I walked away and went to my room. Sky grew up very quickly. Before I knew it, she was 6 already. She was adorable, but I always avoided her because being with her brought issues with my parents. Once, I tried to switch channels when I saw that she was asleep. But as soon as I touched the remote control, she opened her eyes and asked me to put it down. But you're asleep. I'm not even gonna watch for too long.
Well, you didn't ask for my permission to change it, so I'm not gonna let you.
I was desperate. It was my favorite show. I went on my knees and begged her before she finally let me change it. I wouldn't do so, usually, but after getting beaten thrice for doing something without her permission, I learned to do so. When I finished high school at 18, she was in her final year in junior school. I wanted to further my education, but my parents complained about lack of money. We're going to take a loan. That's the only way we can actually afford to help you get that law degree you want. But you have to wait an extra year. They gave no reason to wait an extra year, but I agreed. However, I didn't just idle at home doing nothing. I got a part-time job. After a year, I'd secretly saved quite an impressive amount of money. I also applied for scholarships. Finally, I was lucky to be among those who got one of them. They were going to cover my tuition until I finished, but I had to do other basic things myself. I was satisfied with it. My parents had taken the loan already. They'd received the sum of $180,000. I'd saved up $7,000, and I needed $43,000 more to cover everything I'll be needing. Eventually, my parents gave me from the loan, and it was all settled, and I left home for college. I didn't want to be at home with my parents and have to face Sky's shenanigans. Life in college was cool. I made like-minded friends, and I studied hard. Eventually, 5 years later, I was done with college. My parents and sister attended my graduation, and I was shocked to see the luxurious display they brought in. One would think they were related to the president or something. I was quite embarrassed, but there was nothing I could do. After my graduation, I returned home. The next thing for me was to start practicing as a lawyer. However, one day, I received an email from the bank claiming I owed $137,000, alongside interest that had accumulated. I couldn't believe my eyes. I left the house headed straight to the bank. There, I was informed that, contrary to what I'd thought, my parents didn't return the remaining money to the bank. I'd take only $47,000 out of $180,000. That meant they'd spent a whooping $133,000. I felt dizzy and had to grab onto a chair and sit down. When I got home, I confronted my parents, but I received the most shocking reply. Well, Sky needed the money more.
I mean, she's a girl. She has to look girly and have all the fun she can have. We had no other means to provide the things she needed, so we used the money. What's the big deal?
Right. What's your deal? You're gonna start making money soon, and you'll pay it off. You don't have to be so stressed about it. Hearing their words was even more stressful. They were so ignorant, so careless. I didn't know what to do. $137,000 was a lot for me. I stormed off to my room to think. After a long time, I finally came to a conclusion. I drafted out my plans and way of execution. The first plan fell in place when I got a job at a law firm. The pay was higher than I imagined. I was able to get the money for an apartment after working only 2 months. While wheeling my boxes out, my parents stopped me. When are you gonna pay the loan? You can't just leave. An apartment is more important. I'm saving up for it. Don't worry too much. I'll pay you back. Now, let me leave. As I turned to leave, I remembered something, causing me to stop and face them again. I hope that spoiled daughter of yours lives a good life. She looks like one who would get you both in deep shit.
Here we go with the negativity. It's better to see you go. Take your negativity out and call us when you're done paying the loan.
Without any more words, I left their house. I worked very hard at the firm. I was so good that I got a promotion in my second month. That meant more money. Soon, I'd succeeded in saving up the $43,000 I took from them. I made it all round up to $50,000 due to the interest payment. When I got home, I met Sky and a boy her age in the living room, with her on his lap. She immediately sprang up when she saw me.
Why are you here?
Are Mom and Dad home?
Obviously they're not. What do you want?
I told her I was there to pay my part of the loan. While giving her the money, I took pictures. I also made videos, all to serve as evidence that I'd paid. Afterward, I left the house. That evening, I got a call from my mom. Apparently, Sky was a chronic gambler. She told my parents about the money I brought and also absconded with it, promising to return home after doubling it. My parents knew the money was gone, so they blamed me. They asked why I didn't pay it in full and why I didn't take it straight to the bank. Firstly, I didn't take the loan myself, so you should go to the bank and not me. Secondly, I used only $43,000 out of the money. The added one was for interest. Now, I'm cleared from everything I owe you guys. They couldn't believe their ears. They'd spent over $100,000 on Sky while I was in college, letting her party as she liked, sponsored her vacations, and even got her a car. I surely wasn't going to pay for that.
Troy, darling, don't do this to us. The bank will take up. Don't let your parents serve jail terms, Troy. Help us, please.
I had no help to render to them, and I let them know. I hung up the call and blocked their numbers. Well, 2 weeks later, the bank truly went to arrest them. Sky was still on the run, so only my parents were sentenced to 6 years each. According to the court, if Sky returned with the money, my parents would only serve 6 years. But if she didn't, then they'd be given more years. Fate seemed to be on my side. Sky wasn't caught until nearly a month later. The cops had shot her legs when she tried to escape. Nevertheless, after she was treated, the court sentenced her to 13 years imprisonment, while my parents got 2 years each added to theirs. The bank sold the house and Sky's car. After their jail terms, the debt was waiting for them. It's been 2 years since they went, and I haven't gone to see them. I do hope they regret their actions and turn a new leaf. I don't plan to be involved in their lives when they're released, though. Don't get me wrong. Thanks for watching. Make sure to subscribe and leave a comment down below saying I subscribed, and we will try our best to reply to your comment.